Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Kent Lutzen. More than 24 hours after a significant winter storm slammed western Montana, causing severe driving conditions across the region, the Missoula County Sheriff's Office lifts emergency travel only warning in the county. Now, Lake County is still under their emergency travel only warning. The majority of western Montana's roads are being classified by the Montana Department of Transportation as covered with snow and ice. The DOT says drivers are at risk of reduced visibility with blowing or drifting snow. Now, with all this changing winter weather, let's go to meteorologist Russ Thomas with the latest on winter weather. Russ.
Yeah, it was definitely a complex system for sure. Some areas got hit with snow very hard. Others where we thought we might see a lot of snow turned into more of a wintry mixed freezing rain. Either way, none of it was very good for the roadways for sure, as you mentioned. Now, the one good thing is over the next 24 to 48 hours, we're really going to start to dry out. We'll get some sunshine. Temperature's going to be on the chilly side. Look at our numbers right now. These are actual air temperatures. We're at 10 above in Kalispell, which we were a lot colder than that earlier, actually. 7 below in Helena, 10 below in Great Falls, 30 in Missoula. Quick look at our wind chill temperatures. If we don't get there now, we'll get there in a few minutes, but it is definitely very bitterly cold on the east side of the divide.
Thanks, Russ. Fallen trees and damaged power lines left many people without power for part of the day in northwest Montana. Northwestern Energy has had a busy day with power lines down near Patty Canyon Drive and Van Buren Street in Missoula, affecting electricity for customers in some parts of the Missoula Valley. Also reported customers without power near Plains, Hot Springs, Clinton, and Superior. Flathead Electric Cooperative reported homes near Ashley Lake, Libby, Middle Thompson Lake, and some homes in Kalispell were also without electricity. Northwest Montana energy companies have a few tips to consider when power outages occur. Keep an extra stock of food and water in your house. To keep the warm air in your house, use towels to insulate the doors. Emergency phone numbers should be easily available. If you use candles, make sure to put them in areas that are safe. And to keep food cold, only open the fridge door when needed. An avalanche trapped a semi-truck driver on Highway 200 west of Lincoln on Friday night. The slide happened just before 10 p.m. The driver was trapped in the front of the truck while rescuers worked to clear enough snow that they could open the door. Westbound traffic was detoured at Lincoln. Eastbound traffic was detoured at Montana Highway 141. Chief Zach Muse of the Lincoln County Volunteer Fire Rescue responded to the scene.
There's so many of those hillsides just like that, you know, along Highway 200, all over Montana for that matter. So it could happen anywhere. Emergency officials say it's emergency travel only, or, you know, please stay home. Please do it, because there's a reason for it. They don't make these decisions lightly.
There were no injuries reported, and those roads were reopened in the early hours of Saturday morning. And a skier is recovering today after getting caught in an avalanche in Truman Gulch near Bridger Bowl on Friday. MTN's Kenneth Webb has this exclusive report. He was there as the skier was taken off the mountain and tells us how lucky this man is to be alive.
Well, a skier went off the backside of Bridger Bowl and got caught in an avalanche. He tumbled quite a ways and was buried for a little bit, and then resurfaced and had a knee injury. And he called his friends, and his friends had a direct line to Bridger Bowl. Bridger Bowl called us, and we initiated a backcountry search from the county.
The search and rescue team took around 3.5 hours to complete after they were called around 4 p.m. Friday afternoon. Thankfully, the skier was able to climb himself out of the avalanche and call his friends for help.
He had friends that were in the area, but he actually contacted them by phone when he got out of the avalanche, so he was more or less by himself.
The search and rescue team packaged the skier and transported him down Truman Gulch. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Department says skiing in the backcountry is very risky and that this skier is one lucky guy to make it out safe.
He is extremely lucky, and so, you know, skiing in the backcountry does not come without risks, especially after new snowfall. You should be skiing with partners. You know, a rescue like this involves a lot of people, and we're super thankful for our search and rescue community here. That's, you know, they came out in the cold weather and very difficult terrain and made this happen. He's doing all right. He's in good spirits, and he's being transported to BDH by the ambulance.
According to Sheriff Brian Goodkin, if you're injured during an avalanche or in the backcountry, a rescue can be a complicated affair, so calling 911 early can make it less so. Reporting from Truman Gulch in northern Gallatin County, Kenneth Webb, MTN News.
Now, the winter storm has prompted an avalanche warning to go into effect in the west central Montana backcountry. The current avalanche danger is high, according to West Central Montana Avalanche Center, and very dangerous conditions are present. Travel in backcountry terrain is not recommended. Human-triggered avalanches are very likely, and natural avalanches are likely. This warning is said to expire on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. An early morning attic fire hit a home in Frenchtown Saturday. Resident and former KPAX anchor Mark Holyoke says he woke Saturday morning to the smell of his house burning. Holyoke called 911 at around 7:40 this morning, and Frenchtown Rural Fire was able to suppress the flame at his home within 40 minutes.
You know, one thing led to another, and I looked outside and saw reflections on the snow and realized that our house was on fire, and yelled at my wife to call 911 and got the cars out, and that's all the time we had. And we just stood back, and then the fire folks got here.
Frenchtown fire officials say that extensive overhaul was required because of the nature of the fire. Firefighters had to cut through insulation and studs to reach the bedroom where the fire was reported to have been seen. Their neighborhood has been out of power since 3 p.m. on Friday due to fallen trees. Missoula Electric cooperative workers were on scene isolating the house and attempting to restore power to the neighborhood. Holyoke and his family are all safe and are trying to stay positive.
Some other things, but you know, that's just stuff, and we're okay. My wife and I are fine. We've got family nearby. We've got all sorts of neighbors and community that are reaching out to us, and so we're fine. You know, we're not happy, but we're good. You know, I spent so long delivering the news and feeling for people, and now I'm on this end of it, and so we're appreciative of the firefighters and everybody.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation, though electrical causes have been ruled out. And in national news, the 25-year-old has been arrested in the so-called swatting death of a father of 2 in Kansas. Los Angeles police say Tyler Baris is being held without bail, and as Carter Evans reports, this was not the first time Baris has called in a hoax.
Police body cam footage captures the moment an officer opens fire. Wichita police were responding to this 911 call from a man who said he had just killed his father.
I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
The caller said he was holding his mother and brother hostage, and he made threats.
I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
When police arrived, 28-year-old Andrew Finch opened the door. Officers thought he may be the gunman, but now say he's the victim.
We believe this incident is a case of swatting.
Deputy Chief Troy Livingston says the 911 call was a prank made by a man in Los Angeles intended to elicit an armed response. But officers had no idea at the time, and police say one opened fire when Finch moved his hand toward his waist.
He feared that the male had just pulled a weapon from his waistband.
Andrew Finch was shot and killed. His mother says police were too quick to pull the trigger.
I'm not letting go until I have justice.
Investigators in Los Angeles have arrested 25-year-old Tyler Baris in connection with the crime. This mugshot was taken 2 years ago when he was arrested for calling in a bomb threat to a TV news station in L.A. For now, Wichita police aren't saying why this time he targeted a home more than 1,000 miles away.
If the false police call had not been made, we would not have been there. Due to the actions of a prankster, we have an innocent victim.
The FBI helped track down the suspect, and he's now in an LA jail booked on felony charges. The officer who opened fire is a 7-year veteran of the Wichita Police Department. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The FBI helped track down the suspect, and he's now in an LA jail booked on felony charges. The officer who opened fire was a 7-year veteran of the Wichita Police Department. Now, swatting is an online harassment tactic of deceiving an emergency service into sending police and 911 emergency services response teams to another person's address. In late August of this year, Missoula police responded to reports of shots being fired in downtown, but it was actually a case of swatting. And coming up after the break, meteorologist Russ Thomas will have our New Year's Eve forecast. And preparations are nearly finished in New York City for the New Year's Rockin' Eve celebrations.